All right, let's bring in our powerhouse panel with policy analyst and Project 21 member Donna Jackson, political analyst Mark Halperin, and Florida State House candidate and Marine Corps veteran Matt Tito. I want to start this day in our country of truly great importance with this utterly senseless tweet put out by Vice President Kamala Harris. Here it is. She says, "Enjoy the long weekend," with a picture of herself. No mention of Memorial Day or our veterans. Yourself, Matt, do you feel disrespected? Look, it seemed like a cavalier tweet, but at the same time, it almost feels as if they've already acknowledged the fact that they clearly missed the point of the day.
Yeah, you know who's not enjoying the long weekend? The 6,000 men and women who lost their lives during the Iraq and Afghanistan war. The Gold Star families that don't have their family member there with them today during Memorial Day. The friends and family of people who lost somebody overseas. It was a totally insensitive tweet. Kamala Harris clearly does not care about the military. She does not care about the great men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in order to have the freedoms that we have in this country. And then she later on came out with a tweet to basically backtrack everything that she said when she got a lot of criticism about it. But she's basically playing to her base, which believes Memorial Day is just about the celebration of imperialism. And the woke left, how long is that going to be until they try and cancel Memorial Day? This is Kamala Harris, this is Joe Biden, and this is what they believe in. They don't care about the military. It was a completely insensitive tweet and absolutely disgusting.
Mark, I'll come to you because, talking about the politics of this, the optics clearly are terrible here. You talk about the fact that nearly 500,000 Americans laid down their lives in World War II to turn back the Nazis, to say that evil shall not grow on our watch. Talk to us a little bit, number one, about the politics of it, but then also, two, when we actually drill down to the human component of this, those individuals who recognize that freedom is not free and that many people have raised their hand to make sure that we can live as free people here in America.
Good morning, Joe. It's not just today, but every day where we should honor not just those who have fallen to allow us to live in liberty, but their families. And so this is obviously a special day, but it's something that should be part of the American mindset every day because of how important those folks have been to America, to creating the country that we have. Look, this is part incompetence and also partly mindset. And I think the corrective tweet doesn't erase the initial one of social media posting. That is something that really just a basic competence. And remember, this is someone who is a heartbeat away from the presidency, an old heart that beats away from the presidency. And so as she has assumed office, she has gotten to a series of experiences to try to get ready to be commander in chief. This is not a great step in that process.
Now, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley responded to the vice president with her own concise three-word tweet saying, "unprofessional and unfit." Donna, I'll come to you. Those three words describe everything, don't they?
Absolutely. And you have to remember that Kamala Harris started off her vice presidency in that same way when she didn't return the salute when she was entering the airplane. She has to show the base that she disrespects America and that she hates America. And this is just another one of those stunts. She cares more about tearing down the country from within than the enemies that we face outside of this country. And she has no intention of ever changing that. She's always going to disrespect the country, and she hates it. And I don't understand why she's even in the office if she hates it so much.
All right. Now, Harris did try to do some damage control. You have the spending out the other tweet saying, "Throughout our history, our servicemen and women have risked everything to defend our freedoms and our country. As we prepare to honor them on Memorial Day, we remember their service and their sacrifice." Matt, back to you. Again, seems to, number one, acknowledge the fact that the first tweet was reckless. To me, is this clearly too little, too late from somebody who is part of a new grassroots movement to effectively say that at the heart of everything that this nation is an evil nation, and that really, in many ways, permeates everything that they've done to this date?
Yeah, absolutely. It's too little, too late. That should have been the lead tweet. That should have been the only tweet that she sent out. I mean, she's got plenty of smart people around her probably controlling her Twitter. How in the world that original tweet goes out is beyond me, unless it was sent out by design, which is exactly what it was, because nothing these people do is without calculation, political calculation, and knowing exactly what the outcome and the perception is going to be. They know exactly what they're doing. And you see it now infecting the military. You see it now infecting the wokeism is coming into the military with critical race theory and extremism training and all these different things. And the military used to be the one organization, the one part of this country that was unaffected by politics. It was supposed to be nonpartisan. And now you see them infiltrating the military, and it's all by design. They hate the military. They want to change it. They don't like it. The woke left thinks that we're an imperialistic country. They want to get rid of Memorial Day. They don't like it. And Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are leading the way on this effort.
Right. Now, overnight,
Matt, I can tell you.
switching gears to politics here, we've got the Democrats in the Texas House of Representatives. They staged a walkout to delay the passage of a voting bill. Prior to the vote, Representative Akeem Jeffries had this to say about the voting bill. Take a listen.
Well, the Texas law is shameful, and Republicans clearly in Texas and throughout the country want to make it harder to vote and easier to steal an election. That's the only way that I can interpret the voter suppression epidemic that we see working its way from one state, Georgia, to Arizona, to Texas, and all across the country.
Now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott releasing this statement saying, quote, it's deeply disappointing and concerning for Texans that neither will reach my desk, ensuring the integrity of our elections and reforming a broken bail system remain emergencies in Texas. Mark, I'll come to you. You know, how do we put this perhaps maybe in light of the Memorial Day mishaps at the White House, but also this constant drumbeat that any and everything Republicans do to place safeguards on our election, to make sure that the founding principles of this nation remain intact, is somehow rooted in some type of antebellum disdain for growth and equality in this nation?
Well, just quickly, Matt, I can assure you the vice president's office does not know exactly what it's doing. They have a lot of incompetence over there. And so I think that's probably more the explanation of that tweet. On the Texas law, this is deja vu all over again. Just like with Georgia, this law is not perfect. This law's intentions are not perfect, but the characterizations of it and not putting it into the context of some other blue states and the laws that they have, it's just once again, the politics of the left is going after something that isn't there. The law should be debated. We should look at the provisions. The governor will do that. But this is being painted in a way by the Democrats that just doesn't match up with the reality of what's in the law.
Now, Donna, I'll come to you because in many ways, for better and for worse, Democrats said that all of these changes to the normal course of doing business in our elections was due to COVID. I don't know if they've realized this, but we have millions upon millions of Americans who have been vaccinated. The CDC has lifted the mask guidelines more or less across this great nation. How do you actually think that this type of rhetoric is going to impact the upcoming midterm, where Democrats seem to think that they want to try to make sure that these COVID provisions become permanent ones?
I think this is all smokescreen. Listen, you know, the fact that they're saying that these laws are suppressing votes, the reality is that for a long time, this country, a lot of the elections in minority communities were stolen by fraudulent votes. That's a fact. We've done our organization actually did a synopsis and analysis of that, and they found that the reason why they don't want that provision in there is because they won't be able to water down our vote and steal the elections. All of these integrity laws that you have that are being put forth are things that every business in America uses in their own business and hiring practices. So the fact that they're saying that this is voter suppression, it's ridiculous. It's not about voter suppression. It's about how can we ensure that our candidate wins by stealing the elections in minority communities that they know that no one will come and double check because of the threat of being called a racist. And you know what? people are going to have some thick skin and allow themselves to be called that, because integrity matters. And it doesn't matter if someone calls you a name or not. Right is right. I can't go and get a job without an ID card. I can't go on an airplane without an ID card. I can't open a bank account without an ID card. I can't travel or book a hotel room without an ID card. So we don't have job suppression because people require ID card. We don't have cell phone suppression because we don't have an ID card. But somehow, if you require an ID card to vote, you're suppressing a right of an individual. Why aren't we mad about that? American Express doesn't give out an ID card to a credit card to Black people. It takes a village to get an ID card for American Express. But then he wants to be the one that comes out and talks about how he doesn't like this law. Well, start with your own companies.
Right. Well, I'll say here, it's interesting to see who is allowed to say elections are being stolen and who isn't, but we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks to our panel. We'll see you at the top of the hour. Rachel, back to you.